Welcome to NothingisOB South Texas Golf Podcast, episode number 62. I have on, seems like it's going to be a regular guest here, at least yearly. I have on Kerry Niester from the Golf Fellowship. He is the co-founder and the leader of this Golf Fellowship army. Now, he's going to give us an insight on the 2022 upcoming season, talk about some changes that have been made, and just some things that he's really excited about. Thanks for being on the show, Kerry.
Thanks for having me again, Andy. And I like the hat, by the way.
Well, it's okay. I hold it near and dear to my heart. It's white. And man, anything, in a house full of kids that has something to do with what the color white, it always gets dirty. But this one, I keep it up here. Let's see if I can. I don't know if I keep it up. I keep it up a little bit just so, none of my girls or dogs can get to it.
There you go. There you go. Works for me.
All right, let's get right into it, Kerry. Why don't you talk about the upcoming changes or some things that are new to the 2022 Golf Fellowship?
Yeah. So, I've never met too much that I didn't say yes to. No is usually the thing I need to work on the most. But we do have some new things coming. We have Tgf Teams this year, which is more of a traditional league option. Actually, it's not an option. It's built right into the basic membership. So when new members, any members join up, they're going to be randomly selected to be part of an 8-person team. And we'll basically use college format rules where we'll take the top 4 scores from every event from whoever shows up for that team. And, it's a bit of a beta test this year, but it's more of a traditional league format. One of the beauties with the Golf Fellowship is that where it differs from a traditional league is that a lot of traditional leagues might require you to be there so many times for a team format. This takes that into account and allows you, to work around that with your schedule and benefit your team throughout the season. Also, hopefully provide a little bit more engagement, as we get towards the end of the season. So there's several thoughts going into that. City championships this year, we've always had the Tgf championship at the end of the year, up in Horseshoe Bay, and we'll continue to have that. And that's where everybody, from our 4 cities, San Antonio, Austin, Houston, DFW, they come together. All members are eligible for that, to come and play. Level 2 members, which is kind of a new thing this year, but really it's not so much new. It's just kind of a different term for the package of season contests for the points races. So it's really taking the points races that we've already had, as well as the Fellowship Cup that ends up at Horseshoe Bay, putting that all together in kind of one package and increasing the pots a little bit. So we're going to see even more prize money available too. But the city championship aspect of it gives a nice ending for each local league. Whereas before, we might have ended on a 9-hole Tuesday night event. Now we're going to end on an 18-hole weekend event, with a celebration at the end, and bonus points, available too. So once again, to maintain engagement throughout the season, give people a chance, if they feel like they might be out of it, maybe think that they're still in it. So Tgf Handicaps this year. So, for our first 13 years, we had our own handicap system. And then 2 years ago, we decided to go to gin only. And, that was good in some ways. And, and everything that we do, as I imagine many people do, everything we do is on the table for discussion. I have taken a much more intentional approach to how to build this thing, how to grow this thing. I can't obviously do it all. Last year we implemented managers and that just kind of blew my mind, but with the possibility of that. So we have, city managers in each city that help, put together stuff on the back end, communication, that type of thing allows us to grow in some different directions, allows me to connect with the guys, more than what I have, more than what I was, the previous year or so. But it also has opened my mind, how much more can we build this? What is really becoming in my mind, Andy, is a golf community. And the community aspect is super important to me. And I'll talk more about this later, but it's better to build with, than to just build for. And as much as I like to build for, there's only so much I can do to create and to continue to build what we're doing. And so I read it in a book this fall, which I've done a lot of study, kind of personal study, and seeking, and realized that the building with model is really the best way to move this forward and to achieve the goals that I have. There's some new benefits this year for membership, specifically in San Antonio right now. But we're partnering up with Olympia Hills and Hyatt Hill Country for any member to be able to receive regular play discounts. So, not just TGF events, but, they show up to the course, so they call out there ahead of time, get a tee time, show up, hey, I'm a member of the Golf Fellowship, get a little bit of a discount. So definitely a perk there. We're going to be looking to add more and more courses to that portfolio, as well as courses in our other cities, and giving them the benefits there as well. We've also partnered up and received a great offer from Mach 3 Speed Training, Michael Romatowski and Jeff Young over there. Jeff Young's been a long-time member and friend, and they're offering a combo speed check and speed training tool for half off, which is $125 savings.
Well, hold on. That's a great freaking deal, man. Because his stuff is expensive, and I know it's expensive because the stuff that he's created is like one of a kind, and they're like, they're over there tinkering like little elves in the workshop. Jeff and Mike, and that's a great deal, man. Because their stuff's expensive, but again, I know it's custom built.
Yeah, the proof is in the pudding. They've had a ton of success, not just here in San Antonio, but all over the country. And there's more and more PGA, LPGA professionals, semi-pro, you name it, and let alone all the different colleges and universities that they've had success with, where they're going all over the place, doing training and stuff like that. People are buying their tools all over. So Mach 3 isn't just some startup. It's a real deal. So, I feel very honored that they would extend that offer to our members. One of the kind of the last thing I'll say as far as big changes, for 10 years, we raised money through a Hope, what we call the Hope Classic, and it supported an at-risk mentoring program for summer for kids here in San Antonio. And we were the ones that raised the seed money for that. We were the primary benefactors for that group for 10 years. And when COVID hit, we kind of went in another direction. The reason why was, COVID, and we weren't really able to have the events, but two, that organization, Saturday Academy, is really doing well on its own. It's gained a lot of traction with the city of San Antonio. It's gained councilman, support. It's also, they're getting their facilities donated to them from the city. And they're also, getting some grant money too. So we're kind of reconfiguring that. So this year, what I decided to do was, let's pool the members. Let's pool all the members. What cause is near and dear to your heart? And so in each city, we had a big survey, and you were a part of that. Had a chance to, chime in about what is important to you. And so we're still in process there, but what we're going to do is that the Golf Fellowship is going to he's going to give $1 per player per round. That's our pledge for the season. And we're going to give that to each city to determine, for its members to determine where they want to give that. And we're also going to invite members and sponsors to participate in that pledge as well. And so hopefully we can really start, building some momentum. But it's been a long time now. It's been very important, I believe, it's part of the community to give back and to support the communities that we're in.
Well, I think you're doing some great things, Kerry. And I know we talked about that, and a lot of what you stated on the show right now, you've I'm not going to say you whispered in my ear, but you told me, straight up front, and that's great because I know for you, it's more than just golf. It's more than just golf. It's kind of the building and everything, like you stated, the community. And I feel that. I think anybody that becomes part of the league, I don't know. I can't speak for Austin. I can't speak for Dallas. I can't speak for Houston outside of the guys that I've met in those leagues. And you know what? They do have a lot of the same sentiment we have here in San Antonio, that they kind of feel the love and the passion that you have for, like you stated, for building. And I know you're doing that. Now, every year it comes up, and do you feel nervous, or are you anxious before the start of, or excited? What's the feelings you get before every start of the new season for you?
It's certainly mixed. I mean, there's so much of this each year that's new for me. I want people to have a great time, and I want to add to our numbers. I really feel like it makes a positive difference in people's lives if they'll give it a shot, if they come out and try it out. I will say, and I shared this with you, I know recently, after the season last year, I had a lot of adrenaline. I had a lot of excitement about, keeping it going, keeping that momentum going, where many times in the past, and I think that largely because the managers were helping me last year, where previous years I've just been flat worn out, I need a break, but this year really came into the fall and the off season excited for more, and at this point, we're getting closer to the season. Now the nerves are setting in. I'm getting nervous, and certainly hoping for a lot of participation and people to get excited. I'm always nervous about how I communicate. If anything, I know that I say too much, and I have people around me that tells me that I'm saying too much. And
Gary, you're saying too much, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's it. You go.
I'm just messing with you. And in speaking with you and Travis Halkowski, who runs the ACGT Tour Series for the Alamo City Golf Trail, I get those same feels and those same vibes. And it seems like what it did for him, it's what those city managers are doing for you. It's kind of like, instead of being burnt out at the end of the year, you're rejuvenated and you just want to do things even better.
Yeah. I know Travis, listening to Travis and your podcast with him not too long ago, there's definitely some parallels there in things that I know that he feels, and versus what I feel. We haven't compared notes, but it's easy to notice, similar challenges in each direction. But yeah, bottom line, we have communities that we're putting together, and we want those communities to be successful. We want them to be healthy. We want the guys to everybody that's part of it to reap the benefits of a healthy community. And so that's the most exciting part, as challenging and tiring as it is at times.
Well, I feel like one thing that you do is that, especially recently, is that you're giving all the members of the golfing community that belong to the Golf Fellowship, you're giving them a voice. And I think in such a big organization, especially in an amateur golf league that belongs to 4 different cities, it seems like, as being a customer, that your voice may get kind of lost. But it seems like you're doing the total opposite and trying to be ultra transparent, especially with your members, And I know for somebody like me, I know other people have to value that.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Andy. It is very intentional right now, because what we saw last year, we've had success, right? We've grown into those other cities. I can't physically be there, so I've got to figure out how do I replicate these values. My real goal is that people will eventually not associate Kerry Niester with the Golf Fellowship as synonymous. My goal is that the Golf Fellowship will stand on its own, and it's this group of people. And we saw some of that last year. I saw some of that with Adam as a party here locally, and how the guys would, some guys, it was almost like, I became secondary. Like Adam's my man, and that's exactly what I hope for.
Oh, we love Adam.
Yeah, absolutely. Adam here, and Omar Mujahid in Austin, and Steve Presti and Clay Carlson did a great job in Dallas last year, and Aaron Andre in Houston. And so and now it's going beyond that. We're, like you had alluded to, where we did a survey. I said, here's 8 different categories that I see that you could possibly plug in, that we could grow this thing if you're interested in it. The bandwidth that I have is limited, but I will, if you're excited about something, if you have a passion for something, and a skill or a talent or just the willpower, to share this with the group, then tell me about it. Give me a yes, or if you can't do it, no problem. Continue to do what you're doing, continue to be a part of the league the way that you're being a part of it. But if you have something that you can share and offer to the group, let's grow something. Let's make this exciting. What can we do with, one of the things is just social media. One of the things that I love to do, I love to celebrate our guys winning things. I love it because a lot of what we're doing, we're a bunch of middle-aged men that, we're living vicariously through this. And, any success is amazing. We haven't seen it in a long time as far as an athletic success or something like that. So, I see so many.
I'm not that far off. Okay, I'm not that far off.
Okay, yeah, you're still young pup. But it's fun to do that, and I find it fun. I love celebrating with others, their successes. And so what can we do, just in social media, and so, tapping shoulders, because I watch the guys on social media. I've got some members that are much more active, and so I've said, hey, you make some pretty good postings. How about you, take some photos and start posting about, your city and that stuff here. Also, of course, the charity, we're getting a group of people, a committee together for that. We're getting, who can help out with the league, event setup, networking, all sorts of. The player development program is something we have in the plans, and the Mach 3 training offer is kind of the first leg of that. But we're going to get back.
I'll be the guinea pig for that. That's okay. I'll let Mike and Jeff know that they can poke prod, and they can use me as ever they want to speed up to get that ball speed up, to get that swing speed up. So right. if they want to try, hey, I'm that guy. I play a good guinea pig.
I'll let them know.
I'll let Jeff know. Don't worry. But I just need you just to get my back in that case.
You got it. I got your back.
Now, in looking at the 2022 schedule, I know we have like a lot of I guess to be determines, or you have a lot of the times and everything. I know those are several of the things that you have to kind of finish out and put your stamp on. Now, looking at the schedule and looking at the 2-mans, I know several courses are kind of off the list that are not on this year. I know you expressed with me some of your displeasure and some of things that some courses are going in a different direction this year. Can you share some of those difficulties that you had in regards to your scheduling?
Uh, I'd back up a little bit. So obviously COVID has made everything very interesting. And it's weird in the golf world, right? It's almost the opposite of everything else. But 2020 was challenging because we weren't allowed on courses for 2 months. 2021 actually was fairly simple from a negotiation standpoint. It was just challenging from a golf fellowship standpoint because we doubled our events from 40 something to 90, and so that was challenging. 2022 though is something completely new, and now we're seeing a supply and demand shift in the golf world that hasn't been seen for decades.
It's almost back to the Tiger boom. It's really kind of we're along those lines.
Probably a 90s boom. You're right. And then of course, COVID has affected all the supply chain issues. So cost to operate have gone up. Driving costs. Just maintenance. I know that
lack of employees.
Yeah. Maintenance of the course, like chemicals that they're putting on the course are just astronomically priced right now. Everything is affected. So, daily costs are going up. So, that's certainly a concern, but it's something we're all dealing with. Okay. So I get it. I don't, hey, good for you. If you need to raise costs, I've always wanted a win-win-win philosophy, stance on things. Win for my members, win for our partner courses, and a win for the golf fellowship. It doesn't make sense to do anything any otherwise. So I want that win-win-win. I get that. But from the supply and demand issue, the biggest challenges for me is in building a community, okay, is the challenge now of getting afternoon times, for that community to be built the way that we've built it, which is ideally through shotguns. Shotguns provide the best atmosphere beforehand, the most dynamic atmosphere beforehand, and the most dynamic atmosphere afterward. And because, and I get it, when the weather is good, it's time to make hay. And that's what we're facing right now. Now, I'll say I've got a ton of courses that are just awesome. They get the golf fellowship. They believe in what we're doing with the golf community, building golf community, and they want to do whatever they can. Now they still got to do what they got to do. And I totally respect that. I just, we've been around for a long time. I think there's a value to relationships. And I definitely have my concerns about how long this bubble will last, because my personal feel is that there is a bubble here. The 38% in rounds, 38% increase in rounds from last year, I don't think that's going to maintain. That's going to slowly, decrescendo. So, but the golf fellowship's plans are to still be here, and we're gonna keep building and doing whatever we can, really, for. And this is what I really am trying to sell to the courses. And I've been trying to make a point of going out, looking at people's eyes, because that makes you human, right? And they become human to you. And it's really important for us in negotiation, because we're such a texting society, and and all this. But we need to go and talk face to face. And hey, here's what we're doing. This is something bigger, because golf is something that has great potential of building community, but it also has great potential to be nothing. To be like just to be stagnant, like to just be self-indulgent, and I think that there's some real potential with golf that nothing else has, to build community in ways, where we can bring different, people together and help us overcome our differences and build community. So I don't want to get on
You're right about that, and I feel that too. I feel like I'm able to understand people from all different types of walks of life, and just because of the time you share, and again, I've said this many times before on this podcast. It's you learn so much about not only yourself, but who you're riding with or who's in the other side. And somebody was just one of my buddies was just texting me before. They're like, yeah, he's a pretty short guy that plays good golf and talks a lot of trash. And I was like, I thought they were talking about me. They're like, yeah, just like you, Andy. And I was like, man, I hate guys like me. Yeah, I was like, I try to be one of a kind on purpose. And so I was like, I totally hate guys like me. But then at the same time, I was like, then I learned to love guys. Like, man, I like him because he's just like me. Yeah. And so that's what you're right. The potential that golf has that no other sport has. And these past several years as I've taken the full dive into this golf world and learning more about it and about myself and the relationship that so many people have with it, it's a great thing that what you're doing right now, Kerry, because it is. You're saying, and I understand what you're saying, that, hey, there's this bubble right now, but you know what? All bubbles get burst at some point. But you know what? The golf fellowship will be here standing, and we'll keep trucking, and we'll keep doing what it was formed for, and the intentions, like you said, intentional, intentional with the right intentions. And I know we talked about this year. You really discussed with me, and you put this question in my lap that really made me ponder some things and kind of go back. Your why. I really want you to explain to everybody your why in building this awesome league and giving everybody a voice. And I want to know your why, and I want everybody here, that listens to the show, that watches the show, to understand, what's Kerry's why.
Yeah. Well, thanks for asking that. This last fall was really an opportunity, and I can't really remember the exact impetus, but I was, trying to, I don't know, a little scattered, I guess, and was looking to really just improve and improve the golf fellowship. There were some things I was seeing in the golf fellowship, just in growth, the challenges of growth, and, growth is exciting. But, how do we maintain kind of this balance? Some of the things you mentioned a little bit ago about, some of the, the heckling and camaraderie and all that stuff, that the banter that goes back and forth, that's awesome. I've never get rid of that. It's more the uglier stuff, where we get out of balance, and it's all about competition. Hey, I competed, in college at Iowa State University, so I know what high level competition is and being serious about the game is. But, I was recommended by my co-founder, Larry Anthis, to read this book, Start With Why, by Simon Sinek. And I would highly recommend it for anybody. It's actually helped several of my friends since then. But, really, it talks about this thing that he created called the golden compass, or the golden circle. It starts on the outside with the what. Everybody knows what they're doing, what they do on a daily basis. And the inner ring is the how. Most people know how they do. And this is maybe related a little more to a organization or something, but the inner circle is the why. And very, very few people know why they're doing what they're doing in an organization. And so, and it really starts with, the head of that group, that organization, figuring out what their why is, and then you can create a why for the organization, and so the process, just kind of skip forward with the process for me, and I'm not there yet. I haven't concluded this, okay, for me. I haven't enunciated it clearly, exactly like the book does. I still have some homework and work to do on that. But, what it's done for me is it's taken the different areas of my life, my day job as a landscape architect, my life at home, my life as a Christian in in the church, my life in the golf fellowship, and it's actually given me a foundation for all of those things, to see each one clearly and to measure what I'm doing against that. So, I'm a connector. That's what I've realized. The gifts, I believe we all have gifts and talents that we're blessed with, through circumstance, through training, through whatever. And we have that to offer, in our little corner of the community in the world. I've realized I'm a connector. I like bringing people together and providing a fun and encouraging environment. I see that we need each other, perhaps now more than ever. And guys need a break. I look back, what this book does is it takes you back, looks at your experiences of growing up, and there's several experiences that I identify. I've shared some of this in my past, but I've never enunciated it here in our past interviews, but I've never enunciated it as clearly as now, because the influences in my life, and I'll just start tying it to the golf fellowship. The things that influence me and the golf fellowship, or for the golf fellowship, are growing up with my grandparents on a farm in Iowa. I know that you grew up with your grandparents, and you can understand there's some generational teachings and aspects of family values that many people aren't blessed, even though, my parents separated. I grew up went to live with my grandparents at age 3.5. I'm incredibly blessed because of that. And I am, many ways, the reason, I am the way I am for many reasons because of my grandparents and the family values, the family appreciation, the getting together. Another thing would be my dad's work ethic at the 9-hole country club. He was a head pro for a number of years. He always wanted to make the best events and provide a fun and fair atmosphere for everybody. I mean, he worked hard. He worked 90-hour weeks, as a head pro. Don't forget the 9-hole country club aspect of that. We do a lot of 9-hole stuffs, and that's foundation. But also then the members at that 9-hole country club, I played with every personality in the book, really training me for now, to be able to handle this and that and all of Andy's junk. And,
and Alex and Alex Macias and OJ, hey, you know what? Hey,
next level. Also competitive golf as an amateur, obviously that plays a role. And, some people get concerned, it's not it's not, the handicap's this, or it's not true golf or whatever. Hey, I've been there. I've played at a high competitive level. And, there's plenty of places where you can go and you can have straight up stroke play tournaments, and you can get your money, you can get every bit of it you want. I'm kind of past that. I love to compete, but honestly, I'd rather go out there and beat 60 guys in a net format. Because if I beat them, that means I've beaten my own handicap. I've played exceptionally well. Not just kind of well, I've played exceptionally well in as even of a format as we're able to create. And so for me to go out there and, for someone that's an MVP, that we have on a event night, they've earned something.
I know, man. I want a cup. I said, I want a cup, but I don't want to buy a cup. I want to earn a cup. I want somebody to give me a damn cup. That's what I want. So that is one of my goals. Well, you know what? I'm not going to lie. I don't have any goals just yet for the golf fellowship. I'm still trying to find myself, my golf self.
Well, you started out on such a high point,
I did. And now, I'm not a tall guy. So, the fall from grace hasn't been that far. and so, But every year, you kind of, before we go into the golf fellowship, I do come up with a couple of goals. Now, as we get in more into the golf fellowship and we understand your why now, Kerry, and I'm going to tell you, if nobody else knew what your why was, I think everybody that knows you and that has belonged to the league can see and can feel your passion and can feel your understanding as to what you're doing this all for. And we get a good insight, and I love to hear that. I love to hear that because now it's like it makes sense. It makes sense why I want to be a part of this group, why I want to be a part of this organization and be a part of this fellowship. Now, you've made it really easy for guys like me to go on out there and be a part of the league. Now, I know it started out as really as just a nine-hole league, and now you've thrown in the 18-hole, you've thrown in the weekend rounds, you've thrown in the trips, and you've really stepped your game up as a commissioner. And what can you tell us just a little bit about maybe one thing that was your favorite part about this last season, the 2021 season?
Well, hands down, it was the Lone Star Cup. It was just the ultimate conjunction of everything that we believe in, for the golf fellowship. And this is actually a picture of the Hill Country Cup, which was another great event. But the Lone Star Cup we went to Pine Dunes, and we took the top 12, top 12 from each city within the Fellowship Cup after that concluded at Horseshoe Bay in the Tgf Championship. And we went up there, we had shirts and everything, and it was we were all there. It was, it's a guy's trip, okay? You go to Pine Dunes. Pine Dunes is like this little hidden gem. It's like guys only. Women aren't going to want to stay there, okay? Even if and I had several guys that asked, okay, if they could take their wives, but I stayed strong and said no. But
you're a stronger man than I am.
Yeah, we stayed there for 2 nights and played 72 holes of golf. We had a Friday practice round, and then we had 2 18-hole rounds of 4-ball on Saturday, and then a singles matches on Sunday. It was a 4-way Ryder Cup style match, and so everybody played the other cities an equal amount of time. And just the camaraderie, the fellowship, the food, the drink, it was a blast. And I know I've received a lot of excitement about that for this year as well.
What was your beverage of choice that weekend? Your adult beverage of choice.
Oh boy, there was Tony Vaught had brought a.
Don't say moonshine. He looks like a moonshine kind of guy.
Well, he had brought some. He had gotten a bottle of Woodford Reserve whiskey,
nice.
bourbon, and he had gotten the logo for the golf fellowship or for the Lone Star Cup engraved, etched onto the bottle. And so that was, hey, that's got to be.
You had to drink it, right? You had no choice.
It's a beautiful thing.
All right, so I got one of my good buddies here, one of my best buddies. He's asking, how can guys join the league? I got Jacob Munoz talking about how can guys join the league? What's the process? What are some of the things that they can do to reach out to you?
Yeah, well, absolutely. My number is 210-838-3948 if you ever need to talk to me directly, but you can also just go straight to our website.
Right there. Got it right there at the bottom. thegolffellowship.com.
Right there. There you go. And right on that very front page, you're going to see Become a Member. And you can click on that button. It's going to take you and you'll take you through a couple of pull downs. And you'll see, these new levels that we introduce. You'll start out with, are you returning or a new member? Then you'd select the city that would be your home city. And then you choose which level you'd want. The level 1 base membership here is, is going to give you discounts, give you the members rate at 100 plus events across Texas. So you're not just stuck to being a member and receiving benefits here in San Antonio. You can go all over the state. If you find yourself out of town for business, if you're a weekend warrior and you want to go play in a bunch of other cities, we had a lot of that cross-city play last year. It was great. You can do that, and you can also get points in your other cities. Level 2 then is upgrading. That's really you, and on a season contest level, that's the competitive aspect of the Golf Fellowship. There's still a chance with level 1. I mean, you're going to be able to be in side games at each event. You'll be able to compete event to event, but the level 1 is really maybe for someone who has a little bit of a more challenging schedule, but they're still going to be able to compete. And if you refer a member as a level 1 member, a brand new person, will give you $25 referral credit. So, bring your friends and pay for your membership. Level 2, I'll increase that to $50. And that's when we start entering you into the season contest. And this isn't all the season contests. There's actually a couple more. There's the match play, which is another add-on, and then our 2-man challenge points races, which are another add-on. So, but I'll say this, Jacob, as as many details as there can be here, the sign up and the participation is really easy, because we want you to be able to sign up, show up, and play. So we can work on the details later. And I certainly am happy to answer any questions that you have. You want to contact me or one of my managers, please do so. But the excitement starts at the course. We want you to sign up at home, get that out of the way. We don't have to exchange money. You and I both can get out to the course. We can go find our cart. It'll have your name on it. We can go, warm up at the range. We don't need to check in at the pro shop. We've got that taken care of. So you come on out and play, and then we have a live leaderboard. Your group leader will, be plugging in scores. You'll be able to follow the live leaderboard, finish up. All the games are worked out. We'll pay out prizes. Last year we paid out, I wrote this down over here.
It must be a big number if you had to write it down.
Yeah.
Maybe you ran out of lead.
Yeah. $65,000 in winnings last year that we awarded, and 215 different winners. So it's only going to be more this year.
Just in case you were wondering, Kerry, I wasn't one of those, but I plan on being one of those this year. All right, and right here I got my good buddy, and you know him, Jeremiah Sierra. Plan on joining this year again, and be ready. I'm taking everyone out. Woo! I like it.
I do too, Jeremiah. I can't wait to see you out there on a regular basis.
All right, Kerry. Now, as we wrap up here, what's probably the one thing that you're really looking forward to this season? And it seems like, I know, like you stated, you're getting a little bit nervous, and kind of anxious as we get going into the season, or the season's about to start. What's the one thing that you're really looking forward to in this new year?
Yeah, I think we're at a bit of a crossroads with the Golf Fellowship. There's potential to determine this year whether or not we're really going to ramp this up to another level altogether, or if we're perfectly content just growing in the cities that we have. And that may be the answer too. I'm completely open to that. But I'm excited most of all about incorporating all the different people, and there's about 30 people in that survey that had responded that they would like to be able to help out in some way or another in one of those categories. And so I'm really excited about figuring that out, and figuring out how can we expand the Golf Fellowship into something that's, just super dynamic. That's really the dynamic aspects of a true community. And I love it when, some of the pictures that I receive in the off season or during the season, guys will go play in events, and or guys will post, in the WhatsApp group for their city. Hey, I've got, I need 3 players for my, for my scramble. One recently in Austin, there was a request, and 3 guys showed up from the membership, and it was like next day, okay, for the tournament. And they sent me a picture afterwards, and these 4 guys are as different as you can possibly make them. And it was, I mean, when I saw that picture, it just, man, that was like a highlight for me. 4 guys that would never hang out on a regular basis, but had a blast that day in the tournament. And that's really what's meaningful to me. And if you're fulfilled, after an event, after a season, if you've had fun, and then that's what matters to me, Andy.
That's beautiful, Kerry. I think all those things, and that one example that you gave is that you're doing exactly what you want to do. You want to build, you don't live in Austin, and you're building it. You're reaching people out there. And if you're reaching people out there in Austin, Houston, and Dallas, and especially here in San Antonio, that's one thing I started to call it. I saw this picture right here that you had on the website, and did I post? Hold on, I'm gonna get it right here. I love this picture that you had, because I know it's several different guys from a couple different groups. And you know what? You're building the Golf Fellowship Army. That's really what you're building right now, because a lot of people are drinking the Kool-Aid. They're believing in not only what you're selling, what you really, the kind of the vibes and the aura of Kerry that you're giving off, to everybody. Because I know how it is, especially when right before an event, you always like to, after you chip and putt a little bit, you like to make your way around. You like to make your way around. And I love this picture right here. Yeah, several different guys. And I was like, man, Kerry, this is what Kerry's doing. He's starting the Golf Fellowship Army, kind of like Arnie's Army. This is what you're doing right now, because you have a lot of believers. You have a lot of believers, and the word is spreading. It's spreading like a fire. And, this thing that you've created is only getting bigger, better, and brighter. And it's hot, man. It's hot right now. And
well,
I'm thankful to be a part of it.
Well, thank you. Can you pull that picture back up? I just want to explain it a little bit. Eric Johnson is the big guy right in the middle, and he is former Marine, and he lives in Austin. He was a new member last year, and what a charismatic, fun dude. And he actually won the points race in Austin last year. Next to him, on his right, on the picture right, or on his left, is Adam Azzopardi with a beard. He's our manager here. He's retired Air Force. And JB Barger on the backside there, he's from Dallas Fort Worth, and he's former Army. So we've got 3 of the armed forces there. I was taking the picture. I wasn't former military, but really, this was really a fun moment. We were playing in our practice round up at Apple Rock at Horseshoe Bay. That was a great time.
Yeah, and just in seeing that picture, I knew all those guys. I knew Eric because he's the guy that likes to take his picture with all his taco meat hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, if I had a chest like that, I'd show it too. I'd walk around shirtless.
Yeah, like I'll go with the turtleneck here.
I would wear a turtleneck, but it looks like a sausage trying to find its way back into its casing, and so or chorizo, because it's a Mexican sausage, right?
Oh yeah.
And I knew that they were all members from different cities, and I said that picture is just perfect. That picture is so perfect for what you're doing, and whether you know it or not, it is. It's I'm telling you, it's the Golf Fellowship Army that you're building, and that because everybody believes in what we're doing. And I know from being a child of somebody from the armed forces, my dad being a Marine, a former Marine, or once a Marine, always a Marine, is that there's certain things that they beat into you. They beat into you, and that you're a believer of, and you will always believe. And I think that's, without beating it into us, I think that's one thing that we've all kind of done. People who are your guys who are members of the Golf Fellowship is that we all believe in you, we believe in the product, and we just try to spread the word, try to spread the gospel of Kerry, and that we want other guys, our friends, to have those same feelings and those same experiences that we do. I know I've done it to my guys, to my golf group that I'm a part of, my 4 bros, Jeremiah, Jacob, and I really want to continue to do that for you, because and for me, it's you've given me a sense of pride, a sense of belonging, and you were one of my first early guests I had on the podcast, and you really made me feel like I could keep doing this.
Yeah, well, we, like I said earlier, we each have our gifts and a special set of skills, like Liam Neeson.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
And you're no exception, Andy, and that's what I really appreciate about you, is your passion for what you're doing. You've given, you talk about me giving a voice, with the Golf Fellowship. You've given a voice to South Texas golf, and just average Joes, getting a chance to share their story, and I think that's really what it comes down to, right? It's our stories. And if we'll take the time to listen to other stories, we'll just be amazed. And it'll blow us away. It'll give us context. There's so many great stories out there, and you've uncovered so many of them, over the past several years, and really proud of you for doing that and sticking to it, because I know you are not one that leaves much room on the plate.
Oh, gosh, like when I heard you say about your dad 90 hours, and I was like this, I'm thinking, man, can I beat him? Can I work? Can I work more than 90 hours? Well, yeah. Kerry, I want to thank you so much for being on the show and giving us your time. I know you're so open with discussing the Golf Fellowship, and I appreciate it, and I'm so thankful, because you give a lot of guys an insight that aren't part of the league. Guys, if you're not, hey, the Golf Fellowship right there at the bottom, thegolffellowship.com. You can reach out. Kerry makes it super easy for you to become a member. He makes it easy for us just to go out and play and just to enjoy ourselves and to build that camaraderie with the other guys. And thanks so much, Kerry, what you're doing for the city, I'm going to say for the city of San Antonio, but you do it for 4 cities. Thank you so much for what you're doing for golf here in the state of Texas, Kerry.
Well, thank you so much, Andy. Thanks. It was great being with you again here, and look forward to seeing you in a few weeks.
Yes, sir. All right. You have a good night.
All right. Good night.
Thanks so much to Kerry for being on the show. It's a great league, guys. I truly believe that Kerry and his managers and city managers and all the guys that belong to the Golf Fellowship, they want to be there. They don't have to be there. Please reach out to Kerry at www.thegolffellowship.com. Please, if you need any more information or you're not sure, hit me up on www.obgolf.com, or you can hit me up Instagram, Facebook. The Golf Fellowship is also on Facebook, on Instagram. So it's a great league. I'm not telling you it's the best league, because, to each their own. I just know that for me, it gives me what I need or what I'm missing. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Remember, in the game of life, nothing is OB.